You ever ask an AI a question and get an answer back that sounds super confident but is just completely, utterly wrong? Well, today we're diving into the tech that's basically an open book exam for AI. It's a revolutionary idea designed to make those bizarre AI hallucinations a thing of the past.
I mean, you've definitely seen this, right? You ask for a simple fact and the AI just confidently invents one. In the AI world, they call this a hallucination. And look, it's one of the single biggest hurdles stopping AI from being something we can truly rely on for serious, important work.
So, why does this even happen? Well, you got to think of most AI models as working from a kind of closed book memory. It's like you memorized an entire encyclopedia from, say, 5 years ago. But then you are locked in a room. All your knowledge is frozen at that one point in time, with absolutely no way to check for updates or see if anything new has happened.
And that limitation right there is a massive deal. It means these models can't learn when the world changes, and they can't ever give you a source to back up what they're saying. It's kind of like talking to someone who only knows what was true back in 2018. How much would they really know about today?
So what's the fix? Well, a few years back, researchers at Facebook AI asked a really brilliant question, the one you see right here. What if, instead of that closed book test, an AI could have an open book for every single question you throw at it?
And their answer was a totally new approach called Retrieval-Augmented Generation, or, RAG for short. And it's a completely different way for an AI to find answers.
Okay, so this is really the core idea. On the left, you've got your standard AI, where all its knowledge is just baked in and locked away. But on the right, the RAG model gets to go look stuff up in an external library, like all of Wikipedia, for every question. This means its knowledge isn't stuck in the past, it's a living, updatable resource. And that makes it way less likely to just make stuff up.
Okay, so how does this whole open book thing actually work under the hood? It all comes down to a really simple but incredibly powerful two-step process.
It's basically a two-step dance. First, you've got the retriever. Think of it like a super fast research librarian. It scans its entire library and pulls out the most relevant documents for your question. Then you've got the generator, which is like an expert writer. It takes your original question and those documents the retriever found and weaves them together into one coherent, well-supported answer.
And this is a great little sketch of how it all fits together. The system combines what researchers call parametric memory, that's the AI's internal trained knowledge, with non-parametric memory, which is just a more technical term for that external library. It's open book. Your question goes in, the system finds the best possible data, and that data helps the core AI write a much, much better final answer.
All right, so the big question is, does giving an AI an open book actually lead to better, more accurate answers? To find out, the researchers put RAG head-to-head against a standard, state-of-the-art model called BART.
Okay, check this out. When they asked about the Divine Comedy, look at the standard model on the left. It makes a classic hallucination mistake. It literally just repeats Purgatorio twice. But the RAG model, because it looked up the facts, gets it exactly right. Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso.
And it gets even more obvious here. The standard model gives a definition of the middle ear that is, well, completely useless, right? It's a circle. Meanwhile, RAG gives a precise, factual definition by pulling those key terms straight from its knowledge source.
And it's not just a few cherry-picked examples. Look at what happened when they asked actual people. When humans compare the answers side by side, they didn't just prefer RAG, they overwhelmingly chose it. In fact, if you look at the chart, they rated RAG's answers as more factual by a factor of 6. That's not a small improvement. That is a huge difference.
So yeah, it's more accurate. That's great. But maybe the most powerful feature of RAG is its ability to stay current in a world that is constantly changing.
Think about it. A standard AI model's knowledge is basically stale the second its training is finished. To update it, you have to go through this huge, expensive, time-consuming retraining process from scratch. But to update a RAG model, it's as simple as just swapping out its library with a new one.
And to prove this, the researchers did this really clever experiment. They gave a RAG model a knowledge base from all the way back in 2016, and then they asked it questions about world leaders who were in power in 2018.
And, no surprise here, its accuracy was a terrible 4%. I mean, how could it possibly know who was in power in 2018 when its entire worldview was stuck in 2016? It failed just like you'd expect.
But then, and this is the cool part, they did something so simple it's almost genius. Without any expensive retraining of the core AI, they just hot-swapped its library, giving it the up-to-date Wikipedia index from 2018.
And bam! Just like that, with that one simple swap, the accuracy on the exact same questions jumped from a pathetic 4% all the way up to 68%. This is the proof. Its world knowledge can be updated almost instantly, on the fly, without rebuilding the whole thing.
I mean, the researchers said it best themselves. This is a game changer. Being able to update an AI's knowledge by just swapping out its library, that makes the technology so much more adaptable, trustworthy, and actually useful in a world that never ever stands still.
So what this really does is change how we should think about AI, not as some static, know-it-all oracle, but as a dynamic, lifelong learner. I mean, if an AI can learn from a public library like Wikipedia, what happens when we give it access to a company's private documents, or a scientist's research notes, or even our own personal data? The real question isn't just what's next for AI, it's what knowledge will we choose to connect it to.